Probably a shock to many of you. A little bit of shock to me, but I always like settlement. I think settlement is the way to go. Saves a shit ton of money in legal fees, especially given Kaceytron's two law firms. It is very important for her to get out of paying the maximal legal fees. Legal fees can be far more expensive than what the case is actually worth, and this is one of those examples. So Kaceytron has agreed to settlement, or Ethan Klein has agreed to settlement from Kaceytron, which includes a full-on apology from Kaceytron to Ethan Klein, which is published on both Twitch, X, and probably YouTube now. Stipulation for dismissal pursuant to Federal Rules of Civil Procedure 41A. Plaintiff Ted Entertainment, Inc., TEI, and defendant Casey Cannabis, Kaceytron, through their undersigned counsels hereby 1. Stipulate that the action be dismissed as against Case Cannabis without prejudice, and 2. Request the court retain jurisdiction to enforce the settlement agreement between TEI and Cannabis, the stipulation. In further support of the stipulation, parties state on June 19th, 2025, TEI filed a complaint in the present action. On August 15th, 2025, Cannabis filed her answer to the complaint in the present action. On December 1st, 2025, TEI and Cannabis reached an agreement to settle the present action. The settlement agreement, although confidential by its terms, includes a provision in which remains to be performed. The performance has already ended. It is Kaceytron essentially begging for mercy, groveling, if you will, and all the GoFundMe money going to Ethan Klein. So, thanks for donating to GoFundMe, guys. That's a great use of money. Thus, as part of the settlement agreement, TEI and Cannabis agreed to stipulate to dismissal as set forth herein, but also request that the court retain jurisdiction to enforce the terms of the settlement agreement. Wherefore, the parties 1. Stipulate that this action as against Kaceytron, defendant Casey Cannabis Kaceytron, be dismissed without prejudice, and 2. Request that the court retain jurisdiction to enforce the terms of the settlement agreement. So if Kaceytron doesn't apologize, doesn't do certain actions, and probably including paying money to Ethan Klein, then the court will punish Kaceytron and force her to comply with the settlement agreement. What's my overall thoughts about this? Kaceytron's weak. She's always been very weak-minded. Haha, 420, smoking pot, haha. That's kind of her gimmick, her stick. I agree with Asmund Gold. It is emotional blackmail. She had no... This absolutely weakens, because remember, they all kind of did the same thing, right? You might be like, oh, well, Dennings did more or less, Frogan did more or less. Like, Frogan is, she got settled too. The only one I think will battle this out is Dennings, and it's because Dennings is very kind of the ringleader of this, plus the fact that Ethan Klein needs Dennings. Ethan Klein cannot let Dennings go. If he lets Dennings go, he's letting H3 Snark go. There's a very, very high possibility that the H3 Snark mod will never be unmasked, if you will, and never be held accountable. I do think this has something to do with the timing of the NVIDIA lawsuit. That's a behemoth lawsuit. You guys, NVIDIA is a $1 trillion company, guys. That's not Kaceytron, Frogan, or Dennings level. Their lawyers are going to be exactly what you think they would be, $1 trillion company's lawyers. And they'll have co-counsels, and they'll have... I can only imagine how many lawyers they're going to have to prevent this lawsuit, because it's a class action lawsuit, so the damages could be massive if Ethan Klein does win. Settlement, in this case, makes perfect sense. As I said, the NVIDIA thing was, you got bigger fish to fry. Kaceytron, just let her go. She's been the most apologetic or the most willing to settle. I don't know if you can call it apologetic, but she's been the most eager to settle, so I'll put it that way. And she has previously lowballed Ethan Klein before settlement. I think it was like $10,000, maybe $17,000. So it's basically from her GoFundMe fund. So no matter, this is one of those things where YouTubers want you to pay for their legal mistakes, and this was a massive legal mistake. Hopefully, Kaceytron can learn from it and not commit copyright infringement anymore. Here is Even Klein. Part of the settlement seems to be Even Klein has to say nice things about Kaceytron, or at least not say negative things about Kaceytron, which of course is quite interesting. The other part that we found out was that Hassan did not in any way support Kaceytron. So Hassan came out and said, "Oh, Ethan, don't do this." It reminds me of, hey, I need your money, Hassan. You're a multi-millionaire. You have more money than anyone else here. I don't want your prayers and thoughts, right? I need your mother effing money. And Kaceytron relies on people who are living See, even in her fundraising video recently, like a few days ago, it was even, hey, I know most of you are broke and you have better ways to spend this. Of course, we all do. It's the holidays. I really need your money, guys. This is why I hate influencers so much, because they target people who are broke. They target people who really desperately need that money, but they're unable to get money from their fellow influencers who are multi-millionaires. Don't make any doubt, Kaceytron is a multi-millionaire, and you might ask, how do I know this? I know the lawyers he hired. I know how much money they're billing out at. Now, for Kaceytron, it's easy because it's not her money, just like Carl Job's not his money, right? It's a fan money, or in Carl's case, some billionaire's money. Why not just burn it to the ground, right? Kaceytron has lost all respect for me. I did initially feel quite bad for her out of the three individuals. If you watch my original takes and you can see my recent development, I did feel bad about her. No spine, no backbone. I know people are going to rally to support her. Here's how stupid they are, okay? So you have two other people fighting a lawsuit. Instead of rallying to support Frogan or Denons, the subreddit, the H3 leftover subreddit, is rallying to support Kaceytron. What an effort. She settled. She settled on Ethan's terms. And you guys want to raise even more money for Kaceytron? What is going on here? You guys are idiots, right? I get it. Hey, let's raise legal defense. I'm not a fan of this concept of raising legal defense for multimillionaires on YouTube or on Twitch, but I understand why some fans would want to do so. I am not a fan of raising money after they've already settled, because settlement is settlement. Kaceytron was okay with the terms of settlement. She does not need your money now, even if she needed it before. She was forced to take responsibility, and I don't think anyone should forget this. She does not have the spine or backbone to fight this, and if she copyrights infringes your video, just sue her. So fold like a house of cards, right? Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Bye, guys.